Hello, I welcome you all in this presentation related with one of the diploma engineering course management, and the subject code is 22509 under the initiative of Maharashtra State Board of Technical Education, Mumbai. The course outcome of this particular course management is use basic management principles to execute the daily activities. In this presentation, I will discuss on first unit, that is introduction to management concept and managerial skill. This unit have the 5 outcomes, and the second outcome is state the principle and level of management. This presentation is divided in two parts. First part contains the F.W. Taylor's principles of management, Henry Fayol's principles of management, and in second part the contents are level of management and function of management. The objectives of this first part are, after the session, you should be able to list the principles of management, to explain the principles of management. Now, what is the principle of management? Principle of management are broad and general guidelines for managerial decision making and behavior of employees towards organization. Many management thinkers, experts have conducted a lot of experiments in industries, and they come to some conclusions. Their conclusions they form into guidelines which are helpful to all types of organizations, and these guidelines are nothing but the principles of management. These are nothing but the broad and general guidelines for managerial decision making and behavior of employees. These are helpful for the administrators as well as managers in decision making and dealing with the employees towards the organization. These guidelines are basically given by the two peoples, Mr. F.W. Taylor. He talks about the principles of scientific management, and Mr. Henry Fayol, he gives the guidelines related with the modern management. Now, Mr. F.W. Taylor, let me introduce him. He was a American mechanical engineer, and the full name is Frederick Winslow Taylor. He was born in 20th March 1856 and died on 21st March 1915. He is regarded as father of scientific management and was one of the first management consultant. He started his career as machinist in 1875. His experience from the bottommost level in organization gave him an opportunity to know the problems of workers. Therefore, having a lot of experience at lower post, at ground level, at field level, he formed particular guidelines which are helpful in increasing the efficiency of the management at lowest cost, as well as taking into consideration the welfare of the workers also. Taylor's principle concerns with increasing the efficiency of production as well as increasing the higher productivity also. Now, what are the principles given by Mr. Taylor? These are also known as the scientific management, principles of management or scientific management. Scientific management is the theory of management that analyzes and synthesizes the workflow. Its main objective is improving economic efficiency, especially labor productivity. The 4 principles as given by Mr. F.W. Taylor. The first one is science, not rule of thumb. Then development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency. Next principle given by him is harmony, not discord. And last one is cooperation, not individualism. So principles of management, this model diagram shows the 4 principles given by Mr. F.W. Taylor. Science, not rule of thumb. Harmony, not discord. Cooperation, not individualism. And development of each and every person. Now let us go in detail. What is the meaning of science, not rule of thumb? This means using scientific methods to study work and determine the most efficient way of performing specific tasks instead of working by rule of thumb or habit. Replacing working by a rule of thumb or simple habit and common sense, instead of it, use the scientific method to study work and time and determine the most efficient way to perform specific tasks. What happens generally? People used to perform the work as in a routine way by following the rule of thumb or by their habit, but it does not give the required results. Required results means the required productivity, required efficiency. But if we carry out the same work scientifically by adopting the scientific ways, we can increase the efficiency as well as the quality of the product as in the productivity of the production. So these scientific ways are nothing but the work study, time study, method study. So adopting these techniques in industries, in day-to-day working of the industries, we can increase the production as well as the efficiency. So this is the science, not rule of thumb, means application of the scientific ways in daily practices, not going for rule of thumb. Then development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency. Mr. Taylor particularly focus on this topic, on this particular point, is that each and every person has its own particular skill, he possesses its own particular skill, has his own abilities and aptitudes. So if we develop it, if we allow them to use it, we can improve the performance of that particular person as well as her or his greatest efficiency also. Employees should be scientifically selected and placed depending upon their skills, capabilities and aptitudes. By identifying the skills and the aptitudes, the knowledge, the capabilities that particular employee is having, we must identify that and allow him to use that in day-to-day practice. Even we can allot the work to particular employees as per his skill, as per his capabilities, as per his aptitudes, so that he can work more efficiently in his particular areas. For example, if there is an X person, he is master in a particular process. Let's suppose take the example of the turning. So if we allow him for the turning purposes only, he can perform the jobs in a very good way instead of putting him on another application. Then harmony, not discord. Harmony means there should be complete agreement on ideas and opinions between workers and management. There should not be conflict. There should not be disagreement between the workers and management. If this disagreement is there, it may lead to the conflicts. So there should be harmony. We must create the environment in such a way that it should be harmonious. It should be harmonious so that we can improve the team spirit, we can build the team working, and we can increase the efficiency of the production. Then cooperation, not individualism. This lays stress on mutual cooperation between workers and the management. Cooperation, mutual confidence, sense of goodwill should prevail among both. managers as well as workers. Now see, this is the bond between the worker and the manager. If this bond is a perfect bond, it is a cohesive bond, they can work in a very good way. So there should be a proper understanding between them, there should be a lot of cooperation between them, there should be a sense of goodwill between them, so that they can perform the well and they can give the best results to the at required desired level. The next principle given by Mr. Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol, he was a French mining engineer born in 29 July 1841 and died on 19 November 1925. He is regarded as father of general management. Fayol's work was one of the first comprehensive statement of a general theory of management known as Fayolism. Like the Mr. Taylor has given the 4 principles, it is called Taylorism. Mr. Fayol has given the 14 principles, so they are known as the Fayolism. He proposed that there were 5 primary functions of management and 14 principles of management. 5 functions of management, so we know that the planning, directing, controlling, staffing, etc., which we are going to see in the next part. And the 14 principles given by Mr. Henry Fayol, these are like this. Henry Fayol's 14 principles of management given by Mr. Henry Fayol. First principle is division of work, authority, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, order, scalar chain, centralization, remuneration, interest, equity, stability, initiative, and spirit de corps. Let us go in detail now one by one. Division of work. Work should be divided among workers according to their personal aptitude and skill. This principle states that every worker should be divided into smallest possible part, and each such part is to be performed by an individual person based on his skill, capability, and required knowledge. This principle also guarantees specialization, efficiency, and maximum production with minimum time and less efforts. Now see what happens in industries. Suppose we want to perform or we want to produce a particular production, and it has the particular some sub assemblies, suppose 4 to 5 sub assemblies. So we must divide that particular component in number of parts, in number of sub assemblies, and each sub assembly or a part should be allotted to a particular group of the person, those persons who are the experts in performing that particular operations. So what happens, the exact or required treatment will get in that particular shop with specialization, with increasing efficiency and maximum production, and it is in minimum time and with least effort. So we must divide the work according to the skill of the person, according to the aptitude of the person, and according to the liking of the person, so that we can get the maximum result. So division of the work is the first. Instead of allotting the work to a single person, irrespective of his skills and aptitude, it is a time consuming process, it is not an efficient process. So better to divide it according to their skills and aptitude. Next is the authority, not responsibility. The right authority is to issue the commands, along with which to fix up the responsibility for its function. Authority is the right way of commanding subordinates, issuing orders and instructions. Responsibility is the obligation of subordinates to perform the task. Authority and responsibility should go hand in hand and must be related to one another. An executive can do the justice to his responsibility only when he has the authority. Authority versus responsibility. Authority is flowing from top to bottom. The superior can order to subordinates. Subordinates again can order to his against subordinates, while at this chain everybody is responsible for particular task, for particular responsibility. So authority and responsibility both are going hand in hand. Authority without responsibility and responsibility without authority is not possible. So if we want to a good quality of work, we must allot the authority to the higher officers, but at the same time, to have a control over them, we must fix up a responsibility also. Then next one is the discipline. Discipline means sincerity, obedience, respect of authority, and observance of rules and regulation of enterprises. This principle implies the subordinates should respond their superiors, respect their superiors, and obey their orders. See, to perform the work in a systematical way, it is necessary that discipline must be there. So discipline is the very important part of an organization. We must follow the discipline, rules and regulations laid down by the administration. Unity of command means an employee is responsible to only one supervisor, who in turn is responsible to only one supervisor, and so on up the organization hierarchy. Individual should get orders from a single supervisor so that he does not get confused and can discharge his duties effectively. Each supervisor, each worker should get the order from a single supervisor. If he receives the order simultaneously from 2 to 3 or 4 to 5 supervisors, he may get confused for to whom he should listen, and therefore he get confused and the proper quality of work we will not get. So there should be a unity of command, means only one supervisor can issue the order to his subordinate, again that subordinate can issue the order to his subordinate. So there should be a proper hierarchy must be maintained. See, this is the diagram showing the single person giving the order to each employees, each subordinates. So all these subordinates follow the orders from a single person. Then unity of direction. This is a broader concept than unity of command. According to this principle, each group of activities having the same objective must have one head and one plan. It means that the right from the administration to the lower level, means top level management to bottom level management, or if we take the example of a section, the manager of that section to the worker, all the employees must lead in one direction, means the goal should be similar for all and all should work in the same direction to achieve that goal. So it is a unity of direction. Then subordination of individual interest to general interest. In any organization, the interest of the organization should be above that of the individual. This is necessary to maintain the unity and avoid friction among the employees. Means the interest of the organization is the priority. Everybody must work for in the interest of the organization rather than his own interest. Remuneration of personnel. Remuneration is the price paid by the organization to its employees for services rendered by them. So we know that everybody is working for earning purposes. So if he gets the right remuneration for his efforts, he will be happy and he will perform again in a very good manner. So remuneration is a price laid down by president and it should be properly distributed to the all employees and employers up to their satisfaction. Then Mr. Henry Fayol talks about the centralization. Centralization means concentration of authority with top management. Means there should be a one authority and all the powers should be concentrated to that particular one authority, so that the confusion can be avoided. Otherwise, what happens? Decentralized organizations allow departments and individuals to make decisions. It is important to have the balance between the centralization and decentralization of the proper work. The next one is a scalar chain. The broken line of the authority from the highest level to the lowest level is called the scalar chain. Like this, right, start from the top level to the bottom level, and in between the managers, his subordinates, this is called a scalar chain. The unbroken line of authority from highest level to the lowest level, this is called scalar chain, and it should be followed in the organization for the smooth functioning. Order. According to this principle, everything and everyone has a specific place in the organization. They should be arranged such that right material, right person should be located at the right place for effective functioning. Means proper allocation of the places and proper housekeeping must be there. Equity, next principle. According to this principle, managers should treat all employees, subordinates with fairness, kindness and justice. This will make the employees to be more loyal and devoted towards the organization. So there should not be any unfair means. All must be treated equally, so that the with fairness and kindness and injustice, so that they will perform with more loyal and devoted towards the organization. Next principle is stability of tenure of personnel. Stable and secure workforce is an asset to an enterprise. Stability of tenure means ensuring that employees do not leave the company. Means the employees should be retained in the companies. They should not leave the company frequently. Otherwise, what happens? New person will join. He become expert in 2 to 3 years and he leave the company. Again, new person will join. Again, we have to train him. He got the training. He become expert in his particular area and left the company. So we will not get the expertization of that particular person, specialization of that person for the improvement of the product, for the smooth functioning of the product. So tenure of personnel must be there. They should not leave the company very frequently. Then initiative. Initiative is conceived as thinking and execution of a plan. Managers should encourage and motivate the employees to take initiative which will help the organization to improve. So we must promote the motivation to the employees to come up with their ideas, their suggestions, their innovative ideas, and allow them to take the initiative so that their new ideas, solution to a problem and dealings with the situation without being asking to do so can be utilized. Then last one is the spirit of the corps. This principle of management emphasizes the need for teamwork, that is harmony and understanding among the employees, and show the importance of communication in obtaining such teamwork. Union is strength is the essence of this principle. So there should be a unity, there should be a teamwork. All people should work in a team, should work with harmony, so that the conflicts can be avoided, and union is the strength. This can be a principle. If we compare the Taylor's principles with the Foyle's principle, we can see that Taylor says he is known as a father of scientific management, while Henry Foyle is known as founder of modern management. Taylor contributed 4 management principles for enhancing overall productivity. Foyle contributed 40 management principles accomplishing managerial efficiency. Mr. Taylor principle based on scientific theory of management, while Foyle's principle based on general theory of management. Mr. Taylor principle says that it is mainly concentrate on low level management, while Foyle's principles are mainly concentrated on top level management. Taylor's approach is supervisory viewpoint and bottom to upward, means starting from the lower level to top level, and Henry Foyle approach is based on top to downward level. So let us summarize. The principles given by Mr. Taylor is, this is the scientific management principle, science not rule of thumb, development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency, harmony not discord, and cooperation and not individualism. While Mr. Foyle gives the 14 principles, and these are division of work, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interest to general interest, remuneration of personal, centralization, scalar chain, order, equity, stability of tenure of personal, initiative, and esprit de corps. Thank you for patient listening, and thanks to MSBT for providing e-learning platform. Thanks.